Hello, everyone. My name is Jameer Alsup, and today I will be discussing the history of the Black experience, politics, based on Chapter 7 of the 1619 Project. This presentation explores how Black Americans, despite being denied freedom and equality from the very beginning of American history, played one of the most important roles in shaping and expanding democracy in the United States. First, I'll get into the overview of the 1619 Project's political arguments. Then, I'll explain how Black Americans resisted oppression throughout history. Next, I'll cover political inequality and how systematic racism shaped laws and policies. After that, I'll highlight key accomplishments in the fight for justice. And finally, I'll discuss work that still remains today. The main political argument of the 1619 Project is that in the United States claimed to be a democracy while excluding black people from the start. Although America was founded on ideas of liberty and equality, enslaved Africans were denied basic human rights. Black Americans constantly challenged this contradiction through protest, activism, resistance, and legal struggles. According to Nicole Hannah Jones, Black Americans were not victims of democracy failures, they were essential to making America democracy real. Many freedoms that benefit all Americans today, especially voting protections and civil rights, came from black resistance. America was founded on the ideas of freedom and equality. Its political system was built in ways that excluded black Americans and used race as a tool to maintain power. America's founding documents said that all men were created equal, but this promise did not apply equally to black people. For example, the Three-Fifths Compromise counted enslaved people as part of the population for political power, but gave them no rights or freedom. Laws were created to maintain racial inequality through slavery, segregation, housing discrimination, and unequal education. This shows that race and power were deeply connected in American politics. Black Americans had to fight continuously just to be included in the democracy that is already claimed to represent freedom. Black resistance has existed from the very beginning. Enslaved Africans resisted because slavery involved violence, forced labor, family separation, and loss of identity. Resistance took so many forms. Some resisted by preserving African culture through music, religion, storytelling, and traditions. Others resisted more directly through revolts, escaping slavery, or learning how to read despite the laws. This resistance proves that enslaved people were never passive. They actively fought against oppression in both large and small ways. Several key historical figures and movements showed political power of black resistance. For example, Nat Turner's rebellion was one of the most significant slave revolts, proving that enslaved people would fight for freedom. The Underground Railroad, led by Harriet Tubman, was an organized resistance network that helped many escape slavery. And Ida B. Wells used journalism to expose lynching as a political tool used to control black Americans. These examples show that resistance was not just survival, it was political activism. Even today, political inequality continues. Voting rights remain a major issue because voter IDs, laws, gerrymandering, and limited polling locations can disproportionately affect black communities. The 1619 Project argues that these issues are connected to America's long history of slavery and systematic racism. This means modern inequality is not random, it is shaped by historical systems of power. Political inequality today reflects how past still influences the present. Despite these challenges, black Americans achieved major political victories. The ending of slavery in 1865 ended legal slavery. The 13th, 14th, and 15th Amendments abolished slavery, granted citizenship, and protected voting rights for black men. The Civil Rights Movement challenged segregation and legalized discrimination. And the Voting Act of 1965 protected black voters from suppression. These accomplishments transformed the nation and expanded democracy for everyone. What we still need to do. Although progress has been made, there is still important work ahead. Voting access must continue to improve. Education funding remains unequal in many black communities. Criminal justice reform is necessary because of disproportionate policing and incarceration. Economic inequality continues to go through the racial wealth gap, and political representation is still limited within the black community. The struggle for true democracy is ongoing. In conclusion, Chapter 7 of the 1619 Project shows that black Americans were essential in pushing the United States to live up to its democratic ideals. From slavery to civil rights to today's political struggles, black resistance has consistently challenged injustice and expanded freedom. Understanding this history is important because it reminds us that democracy is not automatic, it must be fought for and protected. Thank you.